The Golden Hour Birth Podcast, a podcast about real birth stories and creating connections through our shared experiences.
Childbirth isn't just about the child. It's about the person who gave birth, their lives, their wisdom, and their empowerment.
We're Liz
and Natalie,
the Golden Hour Birth Podcast, and we're here to laugh with you,
cry with you,
and hold space for you. Welcome to the Golden Hour Birth Podcast. I am your co-host Liz, and we've got Natalie here too. And this week is part 2 of Sam's episode, our first dad episode. Last week was part 1, so go back and listen to that if you haven't, and we'll jump right back in.
So, if you want to touch a little bit on what going back now, 2 years ago, what happened immediately after Weston's first and got home?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why it's taken me so long to come on here is because of the shit around that. I don't know what happened. It's like,
I never mentioned this in my birth story, so nobody knows.
It was like one of the oddest experiences in life. It was, obviously I just became a father, so that's probably a monumental shift in my life, right? And I know for a fact that I hold my emotions in my belly. Somatically, they just appear, right? They manifest somatically. And I feel it in my neck, I feel it in my shoulders, hips, whatever. Right? Thank you, Mom. Yes. Thank you, Jared. Anyway, I know I love you if you're listening. So yeah, it's crazy. I remember having, even leading up to the actual birth, I was having crippling migraines. I don't know. I've had a few migraines here and there, but leading up to it, weeks before, I was having the craziest migraines ever. And they would start at the base of my skull, in the top of my neck, right where they was me. And it would just sit right there. I mean, I remember being in the fetal position, that no amount of Advil or Tylenol would help. I remember my head would just be throbbing. And I don't know, it was weird. And then after he was born, it was continued. And then I remember holding Wesley on the couch, and I go to move and look at Natalie, and my neck just snapped. It felt like it was the worst muscle pull ever in my neck. And I literally couldn't move to the left. So it means Natalie is there left on her world once because I'm injured. And when that lasted, I was going to chiropractors, went to physical therapy. I'll never forget it. I remember this guy, he's phenomenal, Sean Tucker. He's in Brentwood. He's an unbelievable physical therapist. And, he takes more of a holistic approach and energies and stuff like that. And the first time he met me, this is when I was it's postpartum, right? Mm-hmm. And I remember walking in, and he meets me for 5 minutes. And he looks at me, and he's I'm up on the table, and he looks at me, he's people go through some hard shit. What? What are you talking? He's yeah, people go through trauma and stuff. They have some bad backgrounds. And I knew he was hinting at me. I'm what? Holy shit. Basically what he got is storing all of my everything in my neck. And it just was manifesting in a way because my life was changing dramatically, right? And, and that's going to bring up all things about like, like, was my childhood bad compared to, others who've gone through like sexual trauma, abuse and things like that? No. An alcoholic father who was neglectful and an asshole, right? Was at times, right? I mean, we still loved him, still cared about him to an extent, right? But it's like that father figure wasn't there in our life. And I think I wasn't being honest with myself about, like, I'm scared as hell about becoming a father. I wasn't honest with myself. Honestly, I never told you because I wouldn't tell myself that. Right? Like, yeah. And I remember, like, Sean Tucker looked at me and he's like, nothing is structurally wrong. Your CAT scan came back negative. Nothing's wrong.
Yeah.
So that's when, like, my mind was blown. What? Like, his intuition kicked in and he just read my mind and, like, just read my past. Oh, shit. So that's when I started therapy. And, well, worked through a lot of shit. With my dad. And it's being an adult child of an alcoholic is like, and if you don't take a look at it and acknowledge it, there's going to be some I should be on.
Yeah.
So I mean, I still have, like, sitting here talking about it now, I still have shame about that whole experience. I feel like I missed out. I didn't get to experience the postpartum with Wesley. I was fucking injured.
Yeah.
And I felt so shameful and so useless because you had to go take care of him, where I was like in the fetal position on our bed.
Yeah. At the time it wasn't anymore, but now I look back and like we somehow got through it. We're just telling ourselves it was magical.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, so this is how we started this out tonight, right? Like talking about, like, was it really that magical or was it, what was it?
Yeah. Well, you talk about Wesley being a golden baby, but you don't really talk about you guys at that time. Yeah, I don't even know. It was really hard. I think actually like driving off from Target one day and just being like, where's Sam? And you were at home dealing with a migraine.
Yeah.
And it was like migraine after migraine. And it was just like, Wesley was a new baby. I mean, like, there were days like where you felt okay, but then like the next day you would take like 5 steps back.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, like I had a lot of anger, but now looking back, it's like, he couldn't do anything. Now, like, I totally understand. Like, I don't hold it against you in any way, shape or form. But at that time it did suck. And there was a lot of anger towards you.
Yeah. And I felt that, and it just made me feel even worse. And, yeah, no, I mean, it wasn't what sucks. It was, not to say that it wasn't magical. It was magical. There was times when Ken wasn't ready. I'm like, God, what is this? This is like an out of body experience for a child, right? So it was awesome, but at the same time, it was horrible.
I remember in those days.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard because when it's like a physical pain that it's not like, oh, you have a fever or you have a broken arm.
Yeah.
You can't see it. You're just like, okay, like, buck up, mister. But at the same time, it's like your trauma was coming out in a physical way, but like a lot of trauma, or even, for us, when it came out, it's like postpartum anxiety or depression or whatever it is, like, man, it's just hard. Yeah.
And yeah, maybe like
Comes out
that's like a
different
really good
ways.
point, is like my anxiety has never been so high after I had Wesley, but it's like I can call it postpartum anxiety. Like, most dads can't call it anything.
Yeah.
But there was like,
You're right.
police definitely say like there was some sort of like postpartum depression in men or something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
dads
sure.
never get that kind of thing.
No, and yeah, often sit here and be like, well, dad's right. And not if white men need more recognition. No, won't even do that, but there is something to say like, yeah, that probably, I don't know, hopefully that me telling the story can help other dads who are experiencing the same thing. Like, wow, I had trauma in my background. Oh, I am an alcoholic, like parenthood and substance abuse or mental illness. Right?
Mhm.
Like, okay, so now that you got to have some baggage.
Mhm. Or
Right?
seeing your loved one go through a traumatic birth. Like, we talk about moms getting help, after going through a traumatic birth, but like when dads have to do that, like, it's just, we forget about dad for
And I told you, like, my friend reached out and said that like her friend was like feeling everything on the table, and her husband like can't even talk about it without like breaking down.
Yeah.
So I mean that says a lot right there.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's taboo to talk about not only like what postpartum, I'm a dad. I don't know postpartum, right? But definitely not that, but even talking about emotions and stuff like this in our society is just like you don't talk about. So,
Yeah.
especially with one, right? And it's a bullshit narrative. It's written for us, right? Picture like this is something right, right? Fuck up, Junior, right? Smack you on the shoulder, rub some dirt in. Well, with the research, like, fuck, yeah, that actually does more harm.
Yeah.
So, I don't know where I was going.
Yeah. Well, mental health. Everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, woman, mom,
yeah.
dad, old, young.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, the thing about that, it takes vulnerability and it takes a willingness and readiness to do that. Right? Like, who the hell wants to look at, like, themselves?
Or the bad part of themselves.
Yeah. That's hard. And then you decide to go and you can't find a therapist that takes your insurance or has openings. And that's a whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's a process. And like, I see a lot of clients who are like, yeah, my first counselor was terrible. I, just like, or super judgmental or just kind of talked about their own relationship issues and like, insane.
That was me. I went through like 4 different people, and shout out to Ellie Health, because I finally found a therapist that like is great. But yeah, it's hard.
No, it's awesome. So if they take your insurance and everything like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, think about that from like, I know we're sidetracking here for a second, but it's like, shout out to therapists who are on panels. So you see like close to 30 clients, I would assume, right? Like, think about like per week, right? Think about the burns on it. How could you possibly be your most authentic self as a therapist and be there to hold space for someone on your 30th, 29th, 28th, 27th client of the week? Right? And some of those you're seeing weekly, some you're seeing every other week. Like, yeah, no, I mean, it's like, I think therapists are overworked.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Everybody in the house feeling right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do not take physical or mental health
seriously. I mean, that's
Well, yeah. I mean, I think it's the medicine's been good for us. Right? And when you said it earlier, like, you can't see me. You're talking about like neck, right? So not that your aliens didn't believe it, but it's like, what's going on? There's a little bit of like questioning, like, well, what's actually happening? Well, single mental health. If you can't see it, you're automatically going to like, well, we'll just put a smile on, right?
yeah. So after we got through that, your dad
Yeah,
passed
thank you for
away.
being so true.
So after that, your dad passed away.
Yeah. Weird tight walked,
Yeah.
right? Just I think the migraines had like subsided maybe 2 months after around that time.
I don't even remember.
I think so.
Yeah.
Like, finally feeling good, and then that passes away. My crippling, aortic, abdominal,
And your
head down. Like the abdominal system. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Aortic, abdominal,
Years.
aneurysm. Very good. Triple, easy for me to say. Yeah, no, he passed away, not like boom. Didn't know what to expect. Right? Like, I guess our relationship had never been great. He was always more of like a friend than a father. So I had often contemplated that when I was young, like, what would it be like to lose my dad? I think like part of me was like, if I'm being honest, like, might not be too bad. I don't think I would care that much. I think that was in like my angry teen.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I definitely cared. Right? Like when I got that call from Ben, my brother, right? We had just gotten back, or I had just gotten back from
But I was friends.
Yeah, then friends at brewery and had a few beers and sitting at home, and while I was watching, but Ben calls me, and it's like around 9 o'clock, and he's like, I don't know, he never calls that late. It was just something like you feel in your stomach, and
I think Jason didn't answer the first one, and then when he called back, it's like, oh shit,
It's something.
Yeah,
yeah, you just kind of know, your intuition kicks in, and I'm just like, hello. And he's like, yeah, the ambulance is going out to Dad's right now. He's not doing what? He's like, yeah, he's not bleeding. Okay. And I just sat there and stopped. What do I do? So I literally, I called like a mentor, Tom Nicollet, who great friend over the years, a male figure in my life who's believed it, who's still very special to me this day. And like, I just called him and like, yeah, I don't know why I'm calling you. Okay, what's going on? I'm like, I think my dad's dead. Okay. And just in his like, well, he's actually the marriage or family counselor and just an individual therapist himself. And I think it'd take a lot of like technique and which he uses integrated in my own work, but in his own way, he kind of just like redirected my pain. Yeah. And I just let me know how it goes. And I drove out there to the hospital. Sure, if I show up, it's gone. So I remember coming home and like, oh God, thank God Wesley's asleep, so he doesn't have to see me. I hadn't cried until I think I cried just a little bit. Like, and then I went into my room and saw the soccer ball, my dad got Wesley, and I fucking lost it.
Yeah.
Like on the ground, bawling. Just, I don't know. It felt like for like an hour. And there's nothing you could do to console me, to comfort me. But from that moment on, it was like this idea of like, in a way, it was like something freeing. And obviously, I was grieving and was sad, but it was like something freeing about like, hey, I can be here for my son, right? In a way that my dad wasn't there for us.
Yeah.
And like to this day, I like feel it in my gut every time I see Wesley and now Violet. It's like, I can show up. I can be that man, that husband, father. My dad was there for us. Well, it's nothing fucking better than
You're one amazing dad.
Wait, all you guys are amazing dads.
Yeah. Yeah. Where are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see my brothers, and yeah, I mean, I think we all have that same sentiment with it, like, putting through our own shit, and, the ideas of abandonment, rejection, feelings of like worthlessness, I'm not good enough, things like that. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for my brothers, but the things that I'm going through, right? Like, well, it's because of being the son of an alcoholic parent, right? But yeah, no, thank you. I mean, it's like, honestly, got the best thing in the world is being fun. I know that's cliche, but it's like, if I tell you like daily, it's like, I'm working at West. It's like, oh, it hurts so much. I love it. Yeah. And it's like, you're really focused on like, hey, it's time to, transition from the passies. And, hey, maybe his birthday's coming up next week. Maybe go to Build-A-Bear and like have him put the passies inside the Build-A-Bear.
Oh, that's cute.
Like, that is cute. Let's do that. Yeah. But then then I was like thinking like, oh fuck, I think I'm more attached to them to the passies than he is. Yeah. And no. Fatherhood is the best thing in the world because I'm actively mastering what I passively suffer. And it's a Mark Sivic's quote. He's a career counselor. One of my mentors, Brent Hutchison, it's his idol. And I remember in grad school, he said that quote. I'm like, yeah.
Say it again.
We're all actively mastering what we passively suffered.
You like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice.
Well, that generational trauma.
Yep.
Working through it.
So I know we're not really talking about birth right now. I just kind of go into my parents and my dad. And so I feel like I've derailed this.
Well, it's all connected. Wesley was what, 2 months?
2 months.
Old?
Yeah.
When all that happened? Like,
Yeah.
That's still 4th trimester.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing. I mean, if you like want to like go into Violet's birth or like her postpartum.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's, right. I mean, in a jumbled way, I got like touched on it. Like, yeah, it was a surprise. Okay, cool. Took some time to like get used to it. And then again, right, like being empathic as I am, it was, oh my God, I'm feeling what Natalie's going through because you had a very rough first trimester.
Yeah.
And that weighed on me, right? I know it was super hard on you. Yeah, it was scary. It was scary. But first trimester, it made it out of that. It really just, it kind of like flew by.
Oh my God. That was like 2 fucking years. I mean, no, it did not fly by.
I'm very surprised to hear that.
Yeah.
It was the longest pregnancy ever.
The entire lifespan of our
Yes.
Isn't that funny though? Like the dad's like, it's not flew by. It was not. There was easy full. Drink a lot of beer, and you're like, oh, I got less than 2 weeks.
It honestly felt like that. I don't even know how to explain. Like that felt like for fucks ever.
Yeah, it's funny. Okay, so let me retract my thing. It lasted like 2 years. It was crazy. Yeah. And then I'm just going to jump forward to like the birth. I mean, it was like a week leading up to it was like you were experiencing, your pain, abdominal pain. You felt like it was contractions, it's not contractions.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was doing anymore. I had to text Liz again. Am I in labor? I don't know.
Yeah, but then
Water broke.
your water broke like days before the birth. And this part was actually like ways,
Yeah.
right?
We
Like,
didn't have to like rush anywhere.
yeah. I mean, it was like, okay, we knew we were going in. Really strong chances can happen today.
You were really excited too.
I was.
Yeah. Like once they said it was my water, you were like, oh yeah. Like, let's do it. Oh my gosh, you were so
Really?
excited.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I was excited. So we went. And sure enough, like we got there, like, yeah, you're in labor. Yeah, that was your water that broke. Right. That was the fluid on your panties. Right. Like, okay. And so then, right, I think it was a Sunday morning, and just so happened that soccer was being played on TV. I remember watching the Manchester Derby, lighting their city.
So happy that day was just so
Yeah, you're just over there chilling
Soccer,
on the
you-
yoga ball. I'm sitting over here on the chair just watching.
took over the TV.
Yeah.
Really did.
You were put on
Like,
Friends or
whatever.
something.
No, I thought like it was like cool because I feel like the Friends was actually on later on, but I was like, this is kind of cool. Like, I feel like we're on vacation. What I love it. It's cool. I don't love it enough to have another child right now, but it's a wonder.
Okay. I'm like,
They must go start on.
So I'm sitting in the chair and like an hour goes by, Manchester loses, blah, 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 it sucked. So I'm like, all right. Then like started like, we get up and walk around, okay? I'm like, all right, let me go get a coffee. So I walk down to the cafe, get a coffee. I'm not gone longer than 20, 25 minutes and I come back up and my shit has flipped. The mood has completely changed. TV is off. Natalie is standing up, straddling the counter, listening to her hypno birthing YouTube channel, and like, I'm like, what did I just walk into? This is insane. Like, oh God, I gotta get ready. So I'm like pounding the coffee. I have like a cayenne bar. I'm like, protein, yeah, let's do this. Ooh, let's get focused. It was nothing. It was like an hour later, she was born. It really felt like that. It was like you were in labor for what? Or I mean, like active labor, so you were like 10 centimeters, and then it was like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh, I mean, no, like from you coming back upstairs, it was probably like 2 o'clock and she was born at 3:51.
Yeah.
Like, I remember after a few minutes of like laboring hard, our nurse Molly was like, just like, let me know when you want to get that for girl. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
And I was like, okay, I think I'm ready.
Yeah.
Epidural anesthesiologist was in fast, and she was born 50 minutes later.
Yeah. And it was
It was
wild.
fast.
So fast.
Yeah. But like this time around, because it wasn't in the birthing center, we had a ton of nurses, techs.
All piled in. Yeah.
It was probably 10.
Yeah. 10 nurses like in our room within like a matter of minutes.
Yeah. And I'll never forget it. It was like Dr. Campbell, your OB, comes in and was like, okay, let's have this baby. Let's do this. And I remember standing down and like looking, the exits. Is that like
Yeah, sure.
sensitive enough?
It's a vagina.
Exits, yeah, the vagina. Watching baby come. And like literally Natalie's like one push and the head starts coming up and all the nurses and the OB, me go like, and I'm like cheering her on and now I was like, what? Are you serious? What are you laughing at? And it was like 3 pushes and boom, Violet's. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was funny. Wild.
Yeah. So then like, again, I knew I kind of touched on it earlier, but it was like, okay, here comes the name, right? We're just looking at her. Oh, Violet, I'm so pretty. I'm like, to myself, something needs to happen. I need something to remind myself of the last experience and make it nostalgic. So I go,
Took a long name.
so I picked the wrong name. I was like, she's not a Violet, she's a Josephine.
I think I was almost pressuring you too. I think I was like feeling Josephine a little bit there. And,
But I think it was
Such a pretty name too.
It is.
I couldn't like not use our favorite name. Since we've been dating, we said that we were going to have a girl named Violet.
Dick.
That's like,
I know that.
I know. I was always like, yeah, we went to a blues game right when we first started dating. I was like,
first date.
and then Natalie, and this is how I knew. You were like, what? We're going to a blues game and she's bringing up like baby names. I'm like, and I wasn't scared.
I don't know how it got started.
Yeah, but I was like, probably Maggie. She's Maggie, that's the worst name in the world. Whoa.
Maggie?
Yeah.
Those are dogs. Thank you. They're dead dogs in their backyard.
She was alive at one time. Not back. It has been 17 years since she passed away.
Yeah.
I love that. It's Irish.
Wanted to name our daughter his dead dog's name. What?
Well, if you think of it that way, it's kind of messed up. It's like, yeah, I mean, Maggie, it's cool. Yeah. So,
Word.
no, that was like one of our first dates. I remember not being scared. We got into this like weird fake fight that because she was like being like fake mad at me, like, oh, I can't believe you want to name our not existing baby Maggie.
Not existent, not even close. One of our like very first dates. Like maybe like 3 dates in at this point.
Yeah. That's how I knew.
I
was like, why are you?
Well, you won that argument.
Yeah.
There's no Maggie.
What was I saying? Before
Just
the name.
brought up my dead dog.
Just the problem that we had. We just got like a little sidetracked is all we can say.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's okay. Yeah. Josephine, she's not Violet. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Well, they don't look like themselves anyways for like the first,
No.
I don't know, 3 to 4 weeks.
No.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, okay, this is what you're going to look like. Cool. I like this.
So how's it been for you, this postpartum experience?
Well, I mean, I feel pretty confident talking openly about this
Yeah.
in front of you because I live with you. I've already talked to you about it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yes.
It sucks. She's adorable. I know I'm going to connect with her. I'm waiting for that to happen. She's starting to smile at me, which is cool. But like literally anytime I pick her up, she's like,
Give me mom.
What's going on? And then I like try to feed her a bottle, and that's like you would think I'm trying to like strangle her or something like that. It's horrible. It's like, I know, I'm just like, here, just take the nipple. Go ahead, take it. And she's like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm not trying to push it. And, she's just like rejecting me. I mean, all of these other feelings of like worthlessness and, come flooding back because of my trauma. And it's like, and then I'm like, I'm a bad partner because I'm not supporting my loving wife who's literally breastfeeding her child to keep her alive. And so no, I'm not gonna lie, it sucks right now. It's been super hard, and it's been really hard in a completely different way than Wesley's birth. Yeah. So I should go and schedule a vasectomy.
Tolerant. I even know. I like have a magical moment where it's like, okay, we're done.
No more magical moments. They're magical moments. We regret those magical moments.
How do you feel like your ADHD influences your parenting? Or like plays into your parenting? I just, let's talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's also there's shame around the ADHD, like I touched on earlier. How does it influence me being here? Well, right, as you know, I went to the grocery store today with Wesley. I'm like, hey, buddy, we're going to go eat salsa. Hey, you like salsa? Let's get some salsa, okay? So we get in there, we get in the grocery store, we get everything. We're like, oh, and Wesley's like, I want some of these muffins. The muffins, here you go. Oh, you want some of those fruits pouches with applesauce? Get those. Cool. Oh, yeah. And I pull up my text from Natalie. Vanilla almond milk, eggs,
Oatmeal,
and oatmeal. Boom. Got it. I'm killing this dad game. Got it. Get the groceries, get Wesley back in the car, drive home. We're outside playing, Wesley and I, and Nata's like, pulls out the receipt with like her bifocal. Right? She was like, excuse me, do you know why you went to the grocery store? I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, do you know why you went to the grocery store? I'm like, oh shit, I got the salsa. Yeah, you did, but it's okay. We got Trader Joe's Green Dragon in the refrigerator, so we don't need it. You can go get it if you want it, but I'm like, nah, I don't need it. So that's an example of just where my mind goes, how parenting is going with ADHD. Let's see. I mean, I'm sure it affects me every single day in ways that I'm not aware of. Maybe I should ask you this.
Right? I think there's still so much to that I don't even know.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
there's no... Every day's different.
Yeah.
With an ADHD partner.
Well, with him, like the clutter and the toys bring up a lot for him. And I was like, what's the deal on this? And he was like, it's my ADHD. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know that would be a part of it. I just thought it was like, you have a hard time paying attention. No.
Yeah, no, it's like the attention and the, what was it? The hyperactivity part of that name. It's like, it's just completely misnamed and heard. It's just like, doesn't really fit to what ADHD actually is.
No, it's like having 12 different songs on at one time playing in your head and trying to like focus on one of the songs.
Mm-hmm. Jason describes it as having a bunch of tabs open.
Yeah,
on the
browser,
computer.
web
Yeah.
browser.
Yeah. And like the weird thing is like watching him do like Photoshop or something is like weirdly soothing because he's got like 30 tabs open. He's like, boom, 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 boom. Click, pull this, grab this.
His desktop.
Whoa, this is
Holy
sweet.
shit.
Yeah.
As a type A non-ADHD, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, about the toys and stuff like that, the disorganization, right? Like, my executive functioning said bye-bye a long time ago, right? Like, I'm disorganized. I suck at time management, right? And I just feel like that brings up so much to see a space that I live in, right? Now, I'm going to judge you, Liz, right? Like, oh, these toys really bring up a lot of anxiety. No, but like the toys, I'm stepping on cars, I'm tripping over dinosaurs. Ruby is like chasing after whatever and like grabbing things she shouldn't. I mean, like that stuff is like hectic to me. It's chaotic. My life, my internal life is already chaotic.
yeah.
Adding to that, so I knew we like got into a conflict over like your sister wanted to bring over that
The
playhouse.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm shut down. I'm like, no. And, you know, your brother-in-law and nephew got over in the back of this truck and they showed up and they're like, hey, Sam, where do you want the house? I'm like, what house? You know, Wesley's Playhouse. I'm like, fuck. I was like,
Is it an outdoor thing?
yeah, it's like, you know, the Fisher Price Playhouse. And I'm just like, great, more shit. There's already like 10 different, like, what do you call them? Like, tricycles and bikes in the garage.
Yeah, we've got that.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, great. And then, you know, Grandpa Gigi buy toys all the time for birthdays, Valentine's Day, whatever day. Right. So, I mean, yeah, I know there's lots that goes on that builds up a lot of anger, right? Anger that I like have gotten better at controlling. But it's because of like, I'm like, my nervous system is always in fight, flight, or freeze. Always. Right. And it's like, if your environment's constantly like, you feel like you're in danger. Now you add this chaotic room and all these toys and things like that. I just like start to panic. Yeah.
Actually, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know. But I know. But also, like, I guess, like I said, I wouldn't be like this. But this is just a conflict that we have, you know?
And that's what
Yeah, it's okay.
you're trying, which means everything.
I'm trying, and I'm learning a lot of new facets of what ADHD is.
Same here. Same here.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to, like, I would like Jason and I's dynamic to be more even with like executive functioning things, like household. I mean, he does a shit ton, so it's not about that, but like putting a whole task for him, like the doctor visits. So he takes care of all his doctor visits, scheduling everything. But I still get the phone calls from the doctors to like remind those appointments and things like that. And then I have to be like, remember you have a doctor's appointment with our referrer or whatever it is. And it's, if I left a lot up to him, I know it wouldn't get done.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm angry about that or anything like that, because I know it's, his brain doesn't have the
Yeah.
same kind of like linear, thinking that I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is hard as a parent once you have 2 kids and you're like, things just get way more out of control because you're like, 2 kids is a lot more than one
It
kid.
is. It is. It
Because
is.
you're managing all their appointments. Yeah.
Mhm.
And you're like, for instance, like the dentist right now, like Wesley's a dentist appointment tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Violet was supposed to have one on Monday, but it got changed to a different time on a different day. It's like the tide and stuff. And so it's just, I'm like, always like, my mind's always going.
Mhm.
Well, I think
Yeah.
it becomes like increasingly more important to talk with your partners. If it was right there, right? Like to really be intentional about communicating what it is, what the expectations are, right? Like
Mhm.
who does what,
Yeah.
right? And what you need from your partner.
Yeah. You have to be
Right.
really direct.
Well, yeah, well,
not like,
in a
we should
non-judgmental
just take out the trash.
without criticizing
Yeah.
your partner, right? Because once you start to criticize your other partner, they're going to feel defensive, and then they're going to fire back, and then you're going to feel defensive, and then boom, 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 boom. It's like this tennis match, right? Then over time, that then it's contempt, and then you stonewall, and oh shit, that's not good. It's all recipes for like separation, divorce. But it's like,
My babe's a mental health therapist.
yeah, it's straight from the gut therapy.
Yeah.
You're phenomenal. So,
You need a couple therapists, so
shameless one. But yeah, no. Where are we?
I mean, I think that was everything I wanted to touch on. Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, I mean, how long did I talk here?
Go ahead.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Damn.
Thank you so much for being our first male one.
Yeah.
Yeah. The
That was
first.
really insightful.
Yeah.
Because I've heard like from your perspective of how your birth went,
Yeah.
but yeah, just hearing it from your perspective is just like completely different. Like
Yeah.
you thinking like, hey, when should she grow up for that girl? Like, just hearing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because I wanted to support her in every
Yeah.
way of her like birth plan, but at the same time, I'm like,
Yeah.
Jeez.
And hearing you being like, you were in the worst state of your life and you're like, it was like,
It's funny hearing all these conversations that were going on when I was in the midst of like another reality.
yeah, oh, you're another.
I was.
Yeah.
I was in another world.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I just want to say that I'm super proud of both of you for starting this. It gives women and mamas a space to feel heard, and it's fucking incredible. I'm proud to be your husband and proud to be your brother.
Thank you.
You're definitely our biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
And Jason with the margarita and stuff.
Thank you, Jason. No, thank you for having me on, and it's been awesome. Probably the guest who's said fuck the most, probably.
Yeah. And it was definitely our first pussy. We like the pussy and panties.
But seriously, I think I have to say, like, I would love to have some more males on. So, like, if there's any women who are listening and be like, my husband would love to do this, reach out to us.
Yeah,
I
for
need
real.
some more of this.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Anybody, any partners.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
thank you for having me on.
Thanks,
It's a
Sammy.
pleasure.
Love
Thank
you.
Love you.